Hey y'all, IrixGuy here, back again for another live show, and got everything sorted out in the studio, so we have the broadcast going link it all together. I've posted a lot of somewhat exhaustive tutorial videos, one of which I posted, this morning, and I've got more in the works. So if there's any particular question or any, specific thing that you would like me to try to reproduce and test, I'm more than happy to do that, because I know a lot of people out there, whether you're doing a YouTube live show like I am, or maybe you're doing something, even at a larger scale, maybe you're doing a live stream for your church, you're doing a live stream for your business, for someone else's business, whatever. Inevitably live streaming right now is the king, given these crazy times that we're in. So, with that being the case, I've used this as an opportunity. Again, I'm always looking for opportunities, being an entrepreneur. So, I've used this situation that we're all part of right now as an opportunity to test, to tinker, and to perfect. So, my objective here with all this, number one, is to improve the production quality of my live streams. That's paramount for me. Sorry for this noise for a second here. I'm going to pop this up. That's paramount for me. But since I'm doing this, how can I provide value for everyone else as well? And, that's why I'm doing doing all the tutorials, because for me to get all this equipment, for me to set all this equipment up for my live show, IrixGuy's live show, an epic drone show, that's fine and dandy. But, hey, Mark Shorty, man, welcome aboard. And I'd like to say, if anybody would like to be a guest, you can call our New York studio if you want to. Just shoot me a message if you want to call in, and shoot me a message on Facebook.com/IrixGuy, and you can call the yellow phone and be a live guest on air. So, if you want to, no pressure there. But yeah, this equipment, it's improving the production quality of the channel. That's my goal. Also, just trying to clean up the studio, not having wires running everywhere, not having to deal with subscription cost for the various components of the live stream. And granted, the previous product that I used was good, but the professional quality of it was nowhere close to the quality of this hardware. So, I've gone in. It's been a significant investment, but, as I always say, ROI, return on investment. What will the return on investment be for this? Well, if I don't use it, it would be nothing. So my goal is to not just use it to enhance the production quality for my shows, but to use this technology as an educational tool for others. Because ultimately, again, we're still part of these times that are uncertain, and people are working from most anywhere. So, people are wanting to broadcast in a way that's as professional as possible, for whatever purpose. Mark says, by the way, did you ever happen to purchase DJI product that had strong chemical smell while unboxing the drone? I've never encountered a drone with a strong chemical smell. That's kind of, was that a recent purchase? That's strange, man. I've never run into that. It makes you wonder, is it just, is there some sort of new paint, or is there some sort of, maybe some sort of stuff they might have put on it to disinfect? I mean, who knows, man? I mean, these are crazy times. Yeah, and again, we've got, I got all this stuff hooked up, and I've got the ability now, so for not only for guests by way of phone, if you want to call in, again, just shoot me a message on Facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I'll share the call-in number. But I've also got, I was playing with a bunch of different video conferencing solutions, and I just said, heck, I'm going to use Skype. So when I do the face on video guest, I'm just using Skype to pull everyone in. And that's the beauty of this setup, is that whether it's a phone call and or Skype or another video conferencing tool for that matter, I can bring everybody in. Don't have to deal with, with microphone echoes and all of the nuisances that, one might encounter with less professional solutions. So, getting all this wired up and then perfecting the setup has been a real, admittedly, it's been a real challenge. Martin says, hi there, Ibex man. Martin, and I think I remember you from the comments, are you the person that's using the Rodecaster Pro and the ATEM Mini Pro, or am I thinking about someone else? Because there was somebody that had questions, and again, that's what I'm using right now is the Rodecaster Pro and the ATEM Mini Pro. So Mark says, yeah, from the DJI Mavic Mini Flymore combo, very strong chemical smell when I unboxed it. Okay, now granted, I didn't get the Flymore combo. I just got the regular Mavic Air 2. So I'm wondering if that smell, if you gave it the sniff test, if the smell was maybe that some of those other parts that the Flymore has and the basic, the base model like I got doesn't. Maybe it's the carrying case. Does that, if you smell it and then smell the other stuff, does the carrying case smell stronger? Because the carrying case is something that wouldn't have been part of the base Mavic Air 2 bundle that I got. Martin says, Archie Luxury recommends your channel. Very cool. And I recommend Archibald Chesterfield III. Actually, we had a live show last night, and there were some challenges with the guests connecting. Everything on the studio end worked great, which is good. So when we have an upcoming live show, that'll be awesome. But yeah, we had hybrid. We had Archibald Chesterfield III, and then after he dropped, Hybrid Life came in. But I really had hoped that during yesterday evening's live show that could have had both at the same time, because it would have been an interesting dynamic. Archibald Chesterfield III is closer to 50. I'm close to 40, and then Hybrid Life's in his late 20s. So it would have been a really cool conversation, various age groups, and just kind of showing the progression of wristwatch collecting. So it would have been a really cool show. It was still a cool show, but it was fragmented, and it didn't come together like I wanted it to. So hopefully AC3 will have Hybrid Life and I on one of his upcoming shows, because I think that's really cool. I just heard something. That's the cool thing about these live streams, is that the more people you get, the conversation really gets going, and it makes it more entertaining. And I want to remind everyone, if you'd like to call in, shoot me a message on facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I can share the call-in number. I'm going to type that in the comments. Please message me on facebook.com/IrixGuy. And again, remind everyone, this is a live show, so if you choose to super chat, you can definitely do so. Just a great way to support the channel and the continued growth. A few things, actually several things on the radar right now, and obviously one of those top things is just getting this streaming. Hey Brad, welcome aboard. Brad, you wanna tune in by way of Skype, man? Or telephone, either one. I've got all the technological kinks worked out, so there's no echo, and everything is perfect. I think it is. So I can, and again, no pressure. If you want to tune in, or if anyone wants to tune in, I can support up to 100 face on video guests, and I can support up to one person by way of this yellow phone right here. So there's it's a really, really slick setup, man. But yeah, working on the live streaming. Honestly, this has been more of an undertaking than I had expected it to be. It's easy to get all the hardware. It's easy to plug it in, but the challenges come when you're trying to fine tune all the settings, and not only fine tune the settings, but get the settings that are optimal for your use case. And in my use case is YouTube Live. So, upon my initial deep dive analysis, I didn't find a lot of people on YouTube that were using ATEM Mini Pro in conjunction with Rodecaster Pro. You know, there were some people that seemed to be doing it, but I don't think they were really doing it in the same way. Because, see, I didn't just care about, yeah, I mean, it's easy if you're using, you know, if you're using an ATEM Mini Pro or just the ATEM Mini, plugging it into your laptop as a, you know, as a webcam source, and then plugging your Rodecaster Pro into that as a professional mic, you know, because this mixes the audio, makes it sound broadcast quality. It's got Aphex. It's got Aphex Voice Exciter and Aphex Big Bottom. So, you know, those are features that you're probably only going to find in really high-end, you know, radio and television equipment. So to have all of that, you know, that's one way to do it. That's a simple way to do it. But see, my configuration is a little bit different. Since I use the ATEM Mini Pro, which is a big differentiator between the ATEM Mini and the ATEM Mini Pro, is the ATEM Mini Pro can live stream directly from the device over the network. ATEM Mini cannot. ATEM Mini has to go through a laptop. So I wasn't able to find anyone that was using the equipment like I was, the ATEM Mini Pro, letting the ATEM Mini Pro control the live stream to YouTube, and then not only integrate a professional mic by way of the Rodecaster Pro, but integrate the mic and then also be able to have screen share, also be able to have full motion video green screen backdrops, also be able to integrate live guest face on video by way of Skype or Uber Conference or other video conferencing tool, and do that in a way to where all of the audio, my audio, is all coming through my broadcast quality mic, where I'm not having to use multiple microphones. And if I do have a guest, all that I have to do is put on my headphones, and I can hear the guests, they can hear me, and, you know, have it to where everybody is synced up. You know, all the lips are in sync, the audio's in sync. There's no one person's audio is not talking over the other person's audio. So, you know, just a lot of interesting things that had to be worked through. So, you know, now that I've done that, now I can just live stream. I can get on these live streams. You know, y'all can join as guests if you choose to do so, you know, by way of Skype or telephone call. So it's really going to make it a lot more streamlined. And the beauty of this too, with this being a hardware solution versus a software solution like I was using in the past, you know, this is a simple power on and go. So, you know, one of the big enhancements that I applied after, you know, obviously after testing and getting all of this connected and optimizing the configuration for my use case of YouTube Live, you know, after refining everything, you know, the next logical step was, well, this looks awful. You know, there's cables everywhere. You know, how do I reduce cable clutter? You know, how do I improve my cable management? And, you know, those were things that, you know, those are tasks actually I've been working on this morning. You know, I've rerouted my cables, because originally they were just all stuck in the back of the ATEM Mini Pro on the desk in front of me, and it looked awful when they weren't in use. I mean, it cheapened it up. It cheapened up the studio. So what I did, I took all those cables, and instead of running them directly from the top of the table over to my laptop where I am now on my talk show desk, I refined everything. And the refinement that I did was I took all of those cables on the table, and I'll post an updated video showing this, but I took all of them, routed them through the neatly drilled circular hole on the tabletop and down below. So when the cables aren't in use, there's a cable catch of sorts under there. So they just stay there. But when they are in use, I pull them across, plug them into my Rodecaster Pro, which is on my desk. And then after I plug them into the Rodecaster Pro that's on my desk, you know, I've got everything. It's neatly run. Now I could put, if I wanted to put like a cable management cover on the floor, I could do that. But then every time I run the cables, I got to lift the cable management. Well, actually, I guess technically I wouldn't. I would just keep the cables run and wouldn't run them each time. So that may be an enhancement that I apply. But I mean, for now, looking at what I've got now, I've only got 2 cables running across the floor. One of the cables goes from Rodecaster Pro to ATEM Mini Pro. The second cable goes from my laptop to the ATEM Mini Pro. So the second cable is for the second monitor. So if I need to share something by way of my second monitor, you know, like your Skype, you know, if you're Skyped in, if you need to be face on video, that's that's the second monitor that's controlling the Skype or whatever video conferencing tool I'm using at the time. And then the other cable is just it's the monitor out. I call it monitor. I would just call it audio out. But it's the two audio out jacks from the back of the Rodecaster Pro that go from there. They're 1/4 inch, and then they go from there to a 3.5 millimeter jack on the back of the ATEM Mini Pro. So, you know, that's how it's all wired up. It works. I hope it sounds great. I hope it looks great. I mean, this has been a beast to set all of this up. But, you know, I'm all in, man. I've got all this stuff running, and this backdrop hasn't flickered on me yet. That backdrop's actually, that's a video that I filmed on Joost Van Dyke. So that's White Bay. So you can see back there. So yeah, that's White Bay on Joost Van Dyke. And that video that I filmed that's visible in the backdrop, that is just, and I did upgrade. I had an older Apple TV. I mean, like many years old. It was, I think, the 3rd generation or the 2nd generation. And it did do 1080p, but it capped out. They're not releasing any new operating system updates for that Apple TV. So this backdrop that you're seeing now, this is being played. It's a continuous loop with the current generation Apple TV 4K, with the current, with the most current, I think they call it tvOS, because the previous generation of Apple TV didn't have the same operating system that the current generation does. So the beauty of this is that, granted, I'm broadcasting in 1080p 60, but that background is a 4K 30 video. So, it's a lot higher resolution. And I found that if I'm using a 4K video, a native 4K video, but then I'm streaming at a lesser resolution, obviously 1080p 60, that I still, there's a value add there because the video itself that's in the background is 4K. So I found it, and maybe it's just my eyes, but I look at it, it seems to be more detail rich than a video that was 1080p. Because what I was having to do with the old Apple TV that I was using, I had to convert my videos from 4K down, convert those videos to 1080p. So with the old Apple TV, I was only streaming 1080p videos. Now this background is 4K 30, but obviously once it's hitting the ATEM Mini Pro, it's going out to the internet, to YouTube at 1080p 60. So Denise says, see the same people walking around the backdrop. Yep, they just keep doing their thing. Speaking of that, let me try something here. I'm going to check out we're going to go from the beach to the pool. Let's see, let me fire this up here. This is actually a good test. I want to see if this will seamlessly shift over, or if I'll have to stop the other one first. Let's see what happens here. Oh, there was a little bump where you saw the Apple stuff for a second, but see, now I've got another backdrop, so there's no people in this one. This one's also 4K. I filmed it in 4K 30. The background you're seeing now, this is in a different location. This is St. Bart's. It's a place called La Village on St. Bart. So I filmed this video there. So you can see the ocean back there. That's some islands out right off of St. Bart's, and then St. Martin is way far away. I mean, not way far away, just, many nautical miles. So yeah, this is the direction I want to go with the channel, because, I kept tinkering, and, y'all watched, actually 100 episodes. It was episode 100 before I started to have this new technology in effect. It took, and granted, I probably could have expedited the process, but, it took a good 100 episodes to figure out what I really wanted from the live stream, and it took a lot of, Brad says, I feel you need more backgrounds, more drone flights, intros, outros. You're exactly right, man. And that's, I'm glad you said that. because something I want to do is take all my 4K footage and create revamped intros for the live shows, also revamped outros for the live shows. And then, you know, like you were saying, the backgrounds. I mean, because there's so much, you know, again, I've got right now, and I'm not plugged into that external hard drive right now. I keep that external hard drive backed up to the cloud in case it fails or whatever. You know, I've got all my videos, but I've got in excess of, I think, over 9 terabytes of 4K video. And, you know, that's the quality video. That's not just anything I shoot in the studio. You know, I use it and then I delete it. You know, no need for me to incur the cost of disk storage for, you know, for something that I'm probably not going to use again. Now, the footage, like you're seeing, all the footage I use in the background and the intros, that's footage that I'll retain forever. Because, you know, that's footage that, you know, obviously to capture that, you know, there were a lot of, you know, there was a lot of cost involved. I mean, you know, you had to travel there, you had to have good weather, you had to be, you know, good light, you had to be the right spot, the right time, and, you know, all of those factors came into play to, you know, to capture these videos. So, yeah, that stuff, man, I've got to keep, you know, I'm keeping that for the long haul. But yeah, Brad, to your point, Brad says other ones are good, just more variety. Yeah, there needs to be a lot more variety. And to be frank with you, one of the things that I've failed to do, and, you know, after this pandemic clears up and you know, travel is comfortable and normal again, one of my big tasks on the top of my to-do list is to get a lot more of these tripod. Because like this background, this was on the tripod. You know, the previous one I was using, camera was on the tripod. And often I found that I don't take the time and use the battery life. And the camera that I use now gets excellent battery life, but I found that recently I haven't taken enough time to get enough of those tripod shots, because that takes time. I mean, you know, you've got a timetable. You know, when I do these business trips and capture all this footage, there's a timetable. There's so much content you want to get, and I think the solution for that is probably what I'm going to do is add, and I'm hoping to come out with the A7 IV, and I'm hoping to come out with it and it's affordable, because what I need to do is add a second camera, you know, a B camera, so that, you know, while I'm performing other video work that's, you know, the camera's in motion, that I can have a second camera, you know, capturing that environment for future green screen purposes like this. Because with one camera, it's like, okay, well, do I want to do this? Do I want to film this? Or do I just want to sit? So I can have that rolling, the second camera rolling, and capturing, you know, green screen backdrops for future use while I'm performing my other video job duties with, you know, with my second camera, my primary camera. So I think that'll be a fix for, you know, for that, because you can never have, one can never have too many stable green screen backdrops. And, you know, the beauty of it is that when you film it yourself, you know, that's your video, you know, you own the rights. So it's not a situation where you go, you know, and there's a lot of great sources out there. I mean, there's video professionals that, you know, it's their full-time gig to go out and film and upload videos to these sites where you can go and purchase stock video content. Problem with that is that when you purchase the stock video content, you know, no telling how many other people may have purchased that. Now, are those other people that may have purchased it, are they in the same arena as you are with YouTube Live and that sort of stuff? Possibly not. Because, I mean, there's tons of content out there. But what's annoying, if you get something and then you see it, you know, everywhere else, you know, it's not yours. You know, it lacks that originality. Sure, you know, there's times where you've got to purchase something because from a cost perspective, from a logistics perspective, sometimes it just doesn't make sense to go and incur the cost to capture that footage yourself. So yes, I understand the huge business need for these stock photo and stock video providers. But, you know, my thing is, if I can do it, I want all my video backdrops to be backdrops that I film myself, because it's original. And obviously it didn't cost, well, yeah, it cost me, you know, I had to incur the travel expense, this, that, and the other, and time. But, you know, now I've got something that's that I can reuse over and over, and I've got backed up securely to the cloud. So yeah, it's just a really, really cool feeling. I want to remind everyone, got a lot of people tuning in. If you'd like to call into the show, shoot me a message. If you'd like to call in, be a guest on the show, shoot me a message by way of facebook.com/IrixGuy. And I can shoot you the call-in number, the New York number in Soho, to call in and be a guest on the live show that's live right now. So that's a new feature I've got with the with the soundboard here, is being able to pull people in by phone and then also face on video. So likewise in the future, for a future show, if you'd like to be on Skype, well, heck, it doesn't have to be a future show. If you'd like to be on Skype right now, shoot me a message by way of facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I'll shoot you a Skype link or the phone link to dial in from a phone. So yeah, just kind of some cool stuff that I'm working on here. Let's see, I'm going into my messages. Yeah, I mean, this is this is just really cool. So yeah, I mean, so there's the main thing is, for anybody streaming, whether you're a YouTuber, a Facebook Liver, insert whatever streaming platform here, if you can get good audio, if you can get good lighting, and and not break the bank, and be able to avoid subscription fees, that's what'll kill you, man. I mean, a lot of people, they don't realize, if you've got a subscription for this, you've got a subscription for that, before you know it, those $5 a month, those $10 a month, whatever, when all of those compound, you're looking at a hefty monthly payment for whatever subscriptions you may have. So, something I proactively worked on for this channel is trying to completely eliminate subscriptions. And granted, I do have a subscription to Adobe Lightroom. That's out of necessity, because Lightroom is, in my opinion, without a doubt, the best tool for working with raw images. I hope that Apple never takes, with Apple's new focus upon migrating all Apple computers within the next few years to ARM CPUs instead of Intel CPUs. I hope that part of that doesn't entail Apple breaking Final Cut away from the buy once and forget it type thing. Because that Final Cut Pro 10, that's one of the things I love about Final Cut Pro 10 versus, a competitor's product like Adobe Premiere, is that Final Cut Pro 10, you buy it once and you're good. Adobe Premiere, you got that subscription fee. And, I'm trying to get out of subscriptions. So, the only subscription I have right now is Lightroom, and I got Lightroom and iCloud. So, for me to be able to do that, that makes me feel pretty good. But yeah, and I mean, all of this that you're hearing and seeing right now, this is all hardware, man. And I've posted those tutorials, and again, the most recent tutorial was today. I've had a ton of questions, not necessarily questions that are public on YouTube. I've had a lot of people reach out to me directly, private Facebook message, whatever. Hey, I'm installing video conferencing for whatever. Can you help me with this? Or I've got fellow live streamers that are trying to figure things out. So, it's a really, let's see, we got a comment coming in here. Jim says, watching live from Greenock, Scotland. Very cool, man. Very, very cool. That is awesome. Yeah, he just commented on Facebook. So we've got Scotland. We've got people from all over. I know Brad is the St. Louis area, so that's super cool, man. Scotland, St. Louis. Got a bunch of other people in here, and obviously, don't feel obligated to share your location. It's just kind of fun to know, when you got an international audience. That's and this is a different time. I don't have a formal schedule for live shows, but this is right now it's around 2:23 p.m. Eastern, 2:23 p.m. New York City time. It's Sunday afternoon, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, but yeah, any questions y'all have about live streaming or drones or whatever, I mean, this is an open forum, and I know it's been very live streaming equipment focused recently, and that's just the product of of everything I've been putting together, because I've been trying to answer all those questions. Have had a lot of people come to me. There's a lot of people that have had questions about Google Wi-Fi, how to configure Google Wi-Fi mesh network. I've had a ton of questions from that, which makes sense, with an abundance of people still working remotely. It makes sense that there's a lot of questions surrounding not only live streaming equipment, but also wireless networking equipment. So, any questions you have, just ask. My objective here is to make it the best use of this opportunity as possible. I mean, the world is still it's an uncertain time, and again, I'm convinced. I'm not convinced, but I do know that the virus actually exists. There for a while, I was kind of like, man, I was getting to the point to where I was like, this is a total fraud. It doesn't even exist. But, I do know real people. Unfortunately, I know real people now that have experienced the real thing. So it's not just something you hear on the news. It's not just a scare tactic. The virus actually exists. So with that being the case, I hope they clear this up soon at a worldwide level. But, until they do, using tools like this and learning how to better use tools like this hardware for live streams is at the top of my list. So, anything you need live stream related, obviously just ask. I'm here to entertain, but I'm here to educate. And I mean, ultimately I'm here to make money. I mean, I'm not, this is not, it is fun and I enjoy it, but I've got to find ways to monetize, the hobby, and that's what I'm doing. So these live shows are super important. And, so there's the rant about, the Rodecaster Pro and the ATEM Mini Pro. And then, of course, this is the pod mic, in case you're curious about that. So let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have brewing here? It's so hot. I want to get out and fly the drone some more. It's been so hot, man. It's just, but I think, and I don't know what y'all have heard, but have y'all heard anything else about the Mavic 3? Whether, and I don't know I don't even know if it's going to be. I've heard some speculation. Obviously with Mavic 2, they brought us the Mavic 2 Pro with the 1-inch sensor Hasselblad camera, and then they brought us the Mavic 2 Zoom with a zoom camera. But from what I've been hearing, and again, I don't have any inside scoop or whatever, but I've been hearing that the Mavic 3 is probably just going to be the Mavic 3. That we're not going to have, we're not going to have multiple varieties of Mavic 3. It's just going to be the Mavic 3, and then you can make whatever you want to out of it. The modular cameras and the different controller options and that sort of stuff. So that's going to be this Mavic 3 is going to be awesome. And the Mavic Air 2, I mean, it has knocked it out of the park, man. I mean, it's like, they brought Mavic Air 2 out, and DJI has set the bar so high for themselves. I mean, with the Mavic Air 2, they're Jim says, do you think DJI will come under the same scrutiny as Huawei? And I mispronounce that all the time. HUAWEI. I don't know. It makes you wonder. I mean, the future for most any technology is kind of hard to predict, and especially during these crazy times right now. Actually, I think these crazy times are probably taking a lot of a lot of things. I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows, man? I just, my biggest concern is that that we don't have any sort of. Here's what I need to do. I need to figure out. This is a good takeaway item. I want to find a tool that I can use during these live streams to take all of my comments, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, take all of those comments and put them into one viewing location. I think that'll be super cool. Which I'm just jumping around the various social sites right now reading your comments, but that would be a cool enhancement for this studio setup. So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Huawei, maybe I mispronounced that. Huawei. Huawei. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I know the company you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't even really speculate as to what may happen next, with that. I mean, it's hard to say, man. But I mean, one thing's for sure is that, despite the current situation, and, it almost makes you wonder if the current situation may have even helped propel the sales of the Mavic Air 2, because, I mean, that drone has just knocked it out of the park. I mean, yeah, it's still expensive. This hobby's not cheap, but, it's still expensive. Geo1, welcome aboard, man. And just a reminder for everyone, this is obviously a live show. If you want to join as a guest, face on video, feel free to message me, facebook.com/IrixGuy. Or if you want to dial into the yellow phone, shoot me a message, facebook.com/IrixGuy. Shoot me a message, and I can share the number to this yellow phone in New York. So, I mean, you'd have to be able to call a New York number. But if you can and you want to, shoot me a message, facebook.com/IrixGuy. Patch you in, do a little bit of chit-chat in real time here. Phone only or Skype. You could do Skype voice only if you wanted to do that. Or you could do the face and voice with Skype if you wanted to. Or you can just chat here. I mean, chatting here is fine. There's no pressure to be a live guest. So, yeah, Roy says, watching. Well, Roy, welcome, and glad you're watching, man. We got, no real, like most of these shows, no real structured agenda. Something I am going to work on, and to Brad's point about, the new intros and the new outros, something else I'm going to work on for this show now that I've, I've ironed out all of the network challenges, the audio quality, video quality challenges. I've ironed all of that out, and now I've created a workflow so I know how to, in a streamlined fashion, I know how to operate all of this gear. So what I'm going to do next is work on some other components. So I want to make this show, I've never been one for too much structure, because a lot of times, especially if you're, and in this case, I'm an independent YouTuber, so I'm running my own channel. But, a lot of people, they're under the umbrella of a multi-channel network or whatever, and a lot of their shows and the content, a lot of it is dictated by, the higher-ups or whatever. And that's the beauty of this channel, is that it's whatever, whenever. With that being said, what I want to do is put together, if you've ever watched like a talk show or something like that. I mean, I think pretty much everybody's watched a talk show, but embed certain components, maybe some sort of, like a dial in for questions type section, have a few minutes of every show allocated to that. Have, and that's what I'm going to work on, is just kind of a, nothing in stone. So it's not like the show's going to not be able to morph over time, but, have, and maybe even it's a per day a week thing, maybe every, day of the week, there's different subject matter. And that's, that'd be kind of cool. And let's see, we got more comments coming in here. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's just jazz it up a little bit, get some. I twisted that. That's funny. I twisted that cord on the phone, man. Yeah, this thing is plugged. What's cool about this? This plugs directly into my Rodecaster Pro, and I could do it with Bluetooth as well, but I don't. I like. I mean, I don't know. Bluetooth works well, but I like a hardwired. I've always been a fan of a hardwired connection. It seems to be, you know, even better. Something I may do though, and I'm thinking about it, but I'm probably going to wait. Well, that's not going to be applicable for that. I may pick up an iPad. That's something I don't have right now, is an iPad, and I think that would be, especially pick up an iPad app, or pick up an iPad and then pick up an app for the iPad, where in essence, if I had that, I probably wouldn't even have to have this laptop on my desk. I don't know. Who knows? There's always room for improvement, enhancements rather. So, yeah. So I mean, really from a drone point of view, right now we're kind of in this interesting phase, and it almost makes me wonder if what we might see next from DJI's is not a drone. We may see. I liked the Pocket, the Osmo Pocket. I like the Osmo Action, but there were things about both of those that I just didn't really feel that DJI got 100% correct. The Osmo Pocket was nice, mechanical gimbal. The drawback to the Osmo Pocket is that by having that mechanical gimbal, if you're doing action type stuff and you fall, that thing's pretty much toast. So it makes me wonder if DJI might release, a new action camera that's kind of in the middle of Osmo Action and Osmo Pocket. And, and that's, it would make sense, especially with the holidays. Those are the types of things, because DJI is going to sell Mavic Air 2 like hotcakes during the holidays. There's no doubt about that. But, could they throw another item in the mix, like a refreshed action camera type thing? I think there's room for that. Brad says, I'm thinking the next Mavic 3 will be January or February. I agree. I think that's after the holidays. And also that's a good time, because there's a lot of people. I mean, granted, these drones are super expensive, and it's typically something that's beyond, how should I put it? It's more expensive than your average Christmas gift. It'd be hard for a lot of people to say, yeah, man, I want a Mavic 3 for Christmas. That's a tough sell. I mean, yeah, there's people that come from all different, from a variety of different financial backgrounds, but even the people that are, that are the one percenters or whatever, I mean, to ask and say, hey, I want to, it's a tough sell for a gift, to ask for that. So for that reason, I think, Brad, like you're saying, January, February would make sense, because, people that potentially got money for Christmas gifts, they can use that money and gift themselves, the Mavic 3 in January or February, assuming that's when it, when it actually hits the market. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think we're going to see Mavic 3 during 2020. I think, Mavic Air 2 has more than enough time to breathe. Obviously, Mavic 2 is still, and here's the thing. Just after CES, Consumer Electronics Show, it makes you wonder. I bet that'll still be a virtual show this year or next year, unless they get this Corona stuff out of the way. But, yeah, I mean, that would make sense. But yeah, the Mavic 2, man, I'm still, and I like the Mavic Air 2 more than I do the Mavic 2. So I would say, and this is price, throw price out the window. Let's say hypothetically they were the same price, which they're not. But would I go Mavic 2 Pro or Mavic Air 2? I would go Mavic Air 2, just because I can count on the autofocus. Sure, I'm sacrificing some of that low light performance that I get from the Mavic 2 Pro, but I get better battery life overall, newer, better drone, and I like being able to pop my smartphone on the top versus having that wonky bottom part, or having to invest the extra for the for the smart controller. Roy says, I dropped my Osmo Pocket once while it was in the case. Still bent the gimbal slightly. I had to ever so lightly bend it back. Thankfully, it still works. Yeah, good. I mean, good thing you were able to do that, and that's definitely an opportunity for improvement for them, because you want to take these cameras out, and you want to to capture the cool footage. There's a certain amount of risk that's often involved, and and for that reason, I'm hoping that Sony comes out with the A7 IV soon, and that it's a less expensive camera, because I don't like this. I mean, I love the A7R4, but it's primarily a stills camera. I mean, it does. I mean, I'm using it right now for the video, but I'd like to have something that's still professional, that you don't have as high of a price tag when you're out doing this stuff. And that's the scary part about this. If stuff's so fragile. I mean, granted, you can be as careful as you want to, but ultimately, when you're capturing the that key moment or whatever, that's when inevitably your camera's going to drop or whatever. So it's just it's hard to say. Brad says, I'm hoping they begin selling the Mavic Air 2 with smart controller. That would be a smart move. Then buy bundle and get them both. You know what? Maybe that's what'll happen for Christmas. Maybe they'll add a different bundle option where you can get the smart controller. That would seem to make sense. It makes you wonder, why didn't they already offer that bundle? Are they coming out? It makes me think they're going to have a redesigned smart controller for Mavic 3. That's kind of where I think what we're seeing now, the improved controller that Mavic Air 2 has, it's not the smart controller, bring your own device. Maybe that's just kind of an interim solution, and they're forcing people to use that. Well, actually, I say they're forcing it. With a firmware update, I think you can use the smart controller with the Mavic Air 2, can't you? I haven't tried it yet. But that's interesting. So let's see what we got here. Got more comments coming in. Awesome. Yeah, who knows, man? It's easy to predict what's going to happen for the future of drones, but it's impossible to be certain, that's for sure. But hopefully, Roy says Osmo Pocket 2, I believe one is coming. Roy, I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that, and it makes me wonder. It's kind of when you look at how DJI did it. They had Osmo Pocket, and then they came out with Osmo Action, two very different cameras. Osmo Action geared towards being able to take underwater and this, that, and the other. Osmo Pocket, which was weird in the beginning, when they first released it, they kind of had that waterproof housing thing, and they were touting it, and it took forever before it even came out, and at least what I've heard, it's not a good experience, trying to film underwater with the Osmo Pocket. But it makes me wonder if they're going to take those two technologies, the Osmo Action and the Osmo Pocket, and just kind of learn from the strong points of both of them, the strong aspects of both of them, and create something brand new. And I'm kind of, here's what I think, and y'all tell me if I'm crazy here. I think we're going to see a camera by Christmas of 2020, and this camera is going to be revolutionary. But I think what we're also going to see is a camera that's a standalone camera. You can use it like you would a GoPro or whatever. But this same camera, I think, is going to be one of the modular camera options for the upcoming Mavic 3. It would make sense. That way they can continue to sell Mavic Air 2. They can continue to sell Mavic 2 Zoom and Mavic 2 Pro. They can go ahead and take advantage of the Christmas selling season and release a product, a standalone camera, that is financially more accessible, for people to give as Christmas gifts. So, what happens after you give somebody, let's just say you give somebody the keys. Well, what are they going to want next? They're going to want the car. And in this case, well, you give somebody the camera. What are you going to want next? You're going to want the drone that it attaches to. So I think from a marketing perspective, I think that may be how everything pans out, because DJI owes everyone a new camera. It's been too long. Osmo Action was the last camera. They also owe us a revolutionary new drone that has a modular camera option without requiring tools. So what better way to accomplish that? So, and to Brad's point, that would fit right in with an expected January or February or even first quarter of 2021 release of the Mavic 3. So, that is what I think's happening. And that enables, that enables DJI to learn from their previous product releases, and it enables them to, get that in people's hands so that they're going to want to buy the drone as well. And it makes you wonder, and if I was running the show, what I would do is I would just sell, let's just call it the naked drone, the Mavic 3 Naked Edition. And basically the Mavic 3 Naked Edition, maybe you can just buy the drone. Maybe you can use an existing smart controller you have with it. Maybe you can just buy the drone. There's no camera attached. Well, if they do release this standalone camera by the end of 2020, potentially you've already got the camera. So then all you want to buy is the tripod, the flying tripod, the drone, the Mavic 3. That would be really cool. If they start parting this out to where you've got where you can just buy the components, that would be really cool. And I think they would find that that it would encourage people to upgrade their drone more frequently. If they can buy the different components, that's who knows. I mean, look at GoPro, for example. Obviously, GoPro failed with the drone industry, but GoPro cameras have remained pretty much the same. GoPro mounts that you may have purchased, time's flown, 10, 15 years ago. A lot of those mounts will still work with current model GoPro cameras. Why couldn't DJI do the same with drones and drone cameras? Yeah, I mean, so what if someone chose to buy the latest and greatest, let's call it Mavic 3 or Mavic 4. Let's go all the way up to Mavic 4. What if they had Mavic 4 and someone was like, well, I want the new drone because, this new flying tripod is technologically superior. I get better battery life, this, that, and the other. There's an incentive to buy it, to buy the Mavic 4. But if you've already got the camera from the Mavic 3, well, maybe I'd buy the drone if I didn't. So in other words, if you can use the older tech, if DJI can go the direction like GoPro's gone, if you can use the previous generation or maybe even a few generations prior, Mavic 5 comes out. Well, if camera's not your big concern, maybe you're still using your modular camera from your Mavic 3 with the Mavic 5. It's a financial decision. Or, maybe it's not even a financial decision. Maybe it's more of a, well, I care more about the, the new features that Mavic 5 is going to bring to the table. But this camera from 2 generations ago, Mavic 3, is perfectly acceptable, so I can still use it. Have that form factor, that mounting type design like GoPro has with their cases and their mounts. Develop some sort of mount like that, regardless of how new the camera may be. Where it's an old camera or a new camera, it's still got that same mounting design. So, if people want to use older tech, let them do it. Sell them a new drone. Because if you're selling, let's say Mavic 5, and the only way to get it is the Mavic 5, the controller, and the camera, what about that person that only cares about the drone body, the Mavic 5 drone body, and they've already got a camera they want to use? Open up that flexibility, and you might find that your sales may increase, because there may be a bunch of people lined up to buy the drone body only. That, you know, if you're only selling the drone with the camera and all the other stuff, you may not sell at all. So I would think from a sales perspective, it would seem to make more sense to offer the body only, the drone body only as an option. You know, I mean, what's it hurt to sell more? If you're in the business of selling, give the customer what the customer wants. You know, let them buy the components. And, you know, maybe if they bundle it all together, if they, you know, buy the camera, the controller, and all of that, maybe they get a little bit better price. But let them buy the individual components. So, yeah, man, with that being said, I mean, it's going to be an interesting, and when I say interesting, I mean super interesting 2021. And, you know, I think Q4 of 2020 for drones and drone cameras from DJI is going to be an exciting time. I don't think we're going to see anything before Q4. Well, maybe in Q3, you know, we'll start to see some banter or whatever, but I don't think we're going to really see something that rapidly here. I'm checking something out here. Check this out. Let's see. I'm tinkering with my ATEM Mini Pro. Let's see what this does. Yeah, trying to find my, okay, so that's my backdrop. I really need to add another, well, let's see, I can do it on this. Let's see. Flip this over. I think I can do this. Oh, yeah, that's not even in use yet. That's what's going on. I was like, I thought that was, let's see, let me make sure I don't knock us off of this. I'm playing with the Apple TV on the back end here. Okay, so that's that. Flip this over here. Ah, okay, I think that's going to work. Let me see. Yeah, this experimentation with this stuff, man, it's cool, but it's one of those things, you will obsess over all these settings. If you're like me, you want everything to be perfect, or as close as perfect as possible, and this stuff, see, I just killed my background when I was doing that. There's my background's back. Yeah, it's got a learning curve, man. But yeah, so appreciate everyone tuning in. And let's see, I'm going to try an outro here. This is kind of a complicated, let's see, preview would be camera 3. So in theory, what should happen is that when I do this outro, it should be a smooth transition. Again, in theory, you know, I'm not an expert with this stuff yet, so, well, you know, bear with me if this is if this is a complete failure. It's my own fault. But with that being said, appreciate everyone tuning in. I'll do another live show soon. Again, if you'd like to be a guest on an upcoming live show, obviously it's just for fun. You can feel free to shoot me a message, facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I'll be happy to share the Skype information. You know, if you've got a tablet, a phone, you know, Windows computer, Mac computer, whatever, you can probably use Skype. So that's one option, and then the other option is just to, you know, to call the yellow phone here in the Soho studio. So, yep, I mean, that's, again, completely optional, but, you know, shoot me a message, facebook.com/IrixGuy, because I'm always looking for guests for upcoming live shows. Doesn't have to be anything serious. You know, we can chat about whatever. I mean, obviously, just keep all of the content clean and appropriate for all age groups. No profanity, no questionable subject matter or anything like that. So, with that being said, I appreciate all y'all do tuning in, the comments, and we're going to get a lot of live shows going here soon. Now that I've gotten all the studio stuff ironed out. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut into check this out here. Watch this smooth transition, y'all. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.